This is Amanda Waller. Apparently my Suicide Squad has been taken out by the Justice League. Seems that the Justice League has gone rogue and they are under the mind control of Brainiac. Now I have come into contact with technology that will allow us to pull in different villains from across the multiverse. Using this technology, we can make us a new Task Force X. A Task Force X that will allow us to kill the Justice League.
Fire. Okay, that's my first time seeing that. Yes, that was awesome. So what's going on, everybody? I'm Lloyd.
And Natasha.
With Midnight Comics.
And welcome to the first What If Wednesday in a while.
Long while. And so with everything being so hot right now in regards to Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, we figured, what if we created our own Task Force X? But there's a little bit of a twist to it.
Right.
Well, I thought you were doing that.
I'm sorry. Yes, and the twist is we will only be using public domain villains.
Yeah, villains specifically.
Yes.
Cute little
anti-heroes or whatever.
Yeah, so cute little tie-in because we actually are going to be launching soon a public domain masterclass in which we'll teach you how to be able to utilize those public domain characters for your own creative works. So anyway, more on that at a different point in time. Right now, let's talk about it. Of course, in the game, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, we play as 4 different characters. You can do Harley Quinn,
of course,
King Shark, Captain Boomerang, Deadshot,
of course,
right. So those
Harley
are 4 characters.
Have been those
like a staple
lately with Suicide Squad.
So definitely those are the 4 characters. We've seen them in action. This takes place in the Arkhamverse. There's no way that you're selling to me that these characters are going to be able to destroy this, or kill the Justice League.
And we've already seen the entire game. But
we've already seen the entire game.
We'll keep spoilers at a minimum. It's only been a week?
Facts. Yeah. So no spoilers on that. We're gonna dive in to the team. So, all right. So first off, we have Mirror Man. Mirror Man pops up in Captain Flash, and it's that big old, as you called it, doodle bug in the top there.
It's a gator / the sandworm from Beetlejuice.
Right. So as you can see, he is able to traverse mirrors or has dominion over mirrors and stuff. Much
this
like
would be like our Mirror Master type character, which I feel like definitely is a character that should have been involved in this story.
Especially if you talk about fighting against the Flash. So again, he's able to pop up on various reflective surfaces and of course has dominion over mirrors and stuff, as shown in this image where he's popping up out of literally every mirror that you see on the thing when he's fighting Captain Flash. So we would definitely drop him in there.
It's funny because he also fights Captain Flash.
Right, bruh. Okay.
Did you not catch that?
No, I didn't. Mirror Man versus Captain Flash. So anyway, next up, what we have is another very interesting character. I would have to say.
Yeah. And that is going to be,
I almost said Captain Atom. Fiery Icer. So Fiery Icer fought, you guessed it, based on the title there, Captain Atom, the original iteration.
Public domain
Captain Atom. This guy's name is Alan Adams, not Nathaniel, that we're familiar with in the modern iteration of him. However, that does not deter from the abilities of Captain Atom as we know it. He is still able to throw those atomic superpowered punches, survive in space, is invulnerable, and all that good stuff. Supersonic flight and speed. And Fiery Icer was able to keep up with Captain Atom.
Keep up with him. Not to mention on top of having a suit that gives him basically Todoroki powers.
Right. He's got fire and ice on there. And they were able to stun, freeze, burn Captain Atom. So they were definitely some high level tech that he's utilizing there. Though it doesn't quite look like it in the picture, but he was able to stun Captain Atom.
Right. And I think it's a good character. And I think we should have said that too. So well, no, you said that.
What?
You said that, the Mirror Man is a good character to go up,
against
when
the Flash.
Using like the Flash.
Mm-hmm.
And so he'd actually be a good character to help us out with some Green Lantern and to help out with Superman.
Yes. Because that's a comparable, like Captain Atom in regards to strength can be weaker than Superman, but comparable strength-wise. It's kind of like how we saw that, a Wonder Woman versus Superman fight, where it's kind of a back and forward for you. And go back to say Shazam or Captain Marvel, whichever one you prefer, fighting against Superman, a kind of back and forth on that level, but they're slightly weaker.
Right. So, I think what makes Captain Atom dangerous, of course, is if he takes in too much.
Mm-hmm.
And then he can,
or if they rip his suit open, and it's like, or they pierce him, now he's setting off a whole new. But we have 2 more characters for you guys to complete our Suicide Squad. Who's next up?
So next up we have Merciless, the sorceress,
Mm-hmm.
Merciless the sorceress. Anyway, as much as I hate this picture, I think Merciless the sorceress is a really interesting character
Mm-hmm.
because she's a sorceress, but she's the leader of a tribe of volcanic people. And on top of being bulletproof, so a good character going to go against a lot of characters.
Right, Batman using guns in this game, so
Right.
that's a wrap.
So she's bulletproof. She has disintegration powers, so who cares about your guns because she's just going to disintegrate them. I've literally read that in one of the comics. She disintegrated the gun.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she has disintegration powers. Can disintegrate anything.
Mm-hmm.
She's bulletproof. She can fly, and she can turn any man into an animal. Just
insane.
She could just do it.
Insane.
So far she's in like 3 books, and it's rather short. There is no limit to that power. She can just turn a man into an animal.
And do they keep their sense of self at all?
I don't think so.
Jesus.
It was hard to tell, honestly.
Okay.
She turned a guy into a polar bear, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he was walking around, and in the polar bear's mouth was the guy's cap. But we didn't stay on the polar bear for very long, so it was hard to tell if he was there because he was like, "Those are my friends, I need help," or if he was there because she just sent him over there.
Right.
Because she had a cage of men.
So there's
turned into animals in her castle thing that she had in their second appearance.
So like there's no argument to say that they have their sense of self or they need to argue against it or anything of that nature as well. So
since she hasn't fought anyone with powers, we can't say whether or not they would keep their power. Like you can't say that she would turn Flash into a sloth and they would be a super fast sloth. The assumption would be it'd be slow. Like a sloth,
right? So that's dangerous. And so even with like the anatomy of these characters and stuff like that, like there doesn't seem to be a limit. Like she said, there doesn't seem to be a limit. So if you are a male, you're getting transformed into an animal, point blank, period. That's dangerous. And then the disintegration, that's one thing that I'm curious about. Like where her disintegration power is not really having an upper limit in those 3 issues and stuff like that. Hypothetically, her disintegration abilities could disintegrate Superman. Hypothetically,
I wonder if they could disintegrate
because is she magic?
She's a sorceress.
She's a sorceress, right? So it's not necessarily something on a physical plane that she has to worry about overpowering him. And
now,
he is
the only
weak
thing I'll
to
give
magic.
is I've only seen her disintegrate objects, and not people. So I will not attribute her disintegration to be able to disintegrate anything organic.
But we know Brainiac is the bad guy in the series, and he's just a bunch of objects until you get to his actual form. So she's about to drop. She could have
disintegrated the shield, the ship, and probably him.
Yeah. Green Lantern's in trouble, honestly.
Yep, all his constructs gone.
Does she have to actually physically touch?
Nope. She said, your guns have no effect on me. And now I've disintegrated it. That's literally what happened.
Okay, we definitely got somebody that's dropping the Green Lantern easily, and anything Batman throws at her first.
Yeah, I think just with these 3 and 4, once we get to the last one alone, Superman, Batman, and Green Lantern are in trouble.
Out of there.
I mean, I said Superman.
Flash,
Batman, and Green Lantern are in trouble because we have the Mirror Man, which Mirror Master is probably one of the best Flash villains because with the mirrors and reflective surfaces, it makes him harder to catch or get away from. And then Mirror Man is essentially doing the same thing. Then we got
yeah, you're right. We have Fiery Icer,
who is
toe with Captain
Atom.
Insane. The last time we really saw this iteration of Captain Atom, to give you guys another modern day visualization of him, we saw DC utilize him in Final Crisis. He was the version of Superman that looked like Dr. Manhattan in the Final Crisis event. And so again, he was still Alan Adams. He was known as Captain Adam, not Atom. In there, but however, when doing more research on the character, he is supposed to be this iteration that we showed you the picture of him fighting. So that is a really heavy feat. Again, they in Final Press, they're pulling all of the strongest people they can, the Supermans and stuff like that. And obviously, Captain Atom is not Superman, but bringing Shazam is neither. But they're bringing all these heavy hitters to this fight, and he is amongst them. And Fiery Icer is fighting toe to toe. I'm talking, they are Yusuke versus the other guy. Punching each other, like with the knife fight joint where they're punching each other, knocking each other back. Captain Adam's on his back. He's using this stuff. Man, anyway, it ridiculous. So that's a heavy hitter for sure.
So we've already got, just with the 3, some heavy hitters there. And of course, now we're going to go to the final, which is our leader here. and that is Black Knight.
What was he doing?
He looks like a very corny Red Skull-esque or something character, but he was actually powerful enough to go toe-to-toe with Man of Steel, not Superman. But
it's like John Henry Iron Steel type joint. Is that his name? Yeah.
John Henry Iron Steel, but strength of him with the suit on.
Without having a suit on.
So he is as strong as steel. And Black Knight went toe-to-toe with him. Insane. Not to mention that on top of that, he has Lex Luthor levels of super science.
That's insane.
So he's smart too, and a good leader because he used to lead like an army of endless dudes.
No,
but yeah, he had his
so if
army
you got a hold
endless.
of Brainiac tech, you talk about he can potentially make armor to sprucing them up and be a little stronger in this fight.
And then we'll say that they're also working with Lex Luthor, like him and Lex Luthor together, they can come up with something crazy.
Yeah, so again, minor spoilers, right? Lex Luthor is in the game, right? So again, we see him trying to do what he thinks he needs to do in order to stop the Justice League as well. So again, you put those two minds together in the midst of it. This is a ridiculous team. It's a ridiculous team. So in the order,
the whole point was for us to find a team that can actually
beat
a chance of killing the Justice League. So with those three, or with those four, the first Green Lantern, Flash, and Batman, I think they're out.
It's a wrap. And so the first boss fight, so they do encounter Flash before he gets. Again, this is stuff that was already in the trailer. We know that he gets brainwashed and stuff like that, but there is a portion at the beginning of the game where he's not. But so saying all that to say, the first boss fight, if I'm not mistaken, their first main encounter with a possessed version of the Justice League was actually Batman. In the game, Suicide Squad got washed in that because it was a cutscene, so they got washed and they was getting picked. Actually, no, there was a little bit of a playable section.
I could have sworn it was John.
No, yeah, well, I was gonna say the first boss fight was John, but the first encounter that you have with the Justice League outside of Flash was like they didn't fight John. They were still trying to find.
You said encounters.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like they've technically encountered John.
You're right, because he did pick them off the street and was in them. Flash saved them. Sorry, excuse me. So with that being said, Sorceress would have nixed him there, saving the Flash from getting possessed. Because the reason why he got possessed was because of the Green Lantern. So by right now, with that being said, Sorceress either disintegrates the ring, because like you said, in her story, she was able to destroy objects. The Green Lantern ring is not a construct.
No.
And we've seen those things.
To be fair, I guess the thought process on the ring would be it's not man-made or human, but that would be the argument. Would it be possible for her to disintegrate it since it's alien in nature and from a higher power? But
it could actually be destroyed. So those things are getting disintegrated. So now he's
John's depowered.
Right. And now these are villains. So they have no connection to any of these heroes at all, right? Much like our cast in the game where they have their reasons for killing particular characters. And these guys are just like, man, get out of here.
Before even the thought of someone asking them not to kill, is even introduced at this point. They're like, all of these characters have no issue killing.
Right.
All of them.
I can even imagine Flash is trying to be like, no, don't kill him. That's our friends. We're trying to save them. And then she turns him into an animal just to shut him up briefly and disintegrates the ring. Well, not the ring, but they do what they do to go ahead and kill John off, and then turns him back and it's just like, all right, anyway, do not.
Fiery Icer and Black Knight could probably just beat him to death.
Facts. So yeah, so right off rip, Sorceress is dropping Green Lantern low to mid diff alongside of that squad. Because again, you got Fiery Icer who's fighting against Captain Atom. That's overpowering a Green Lantern, in my personal opinion. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that. Captain Atom
I
versus...
personally think that Green Lanterns are the second most OP characters after Flash.
They can be, but we never really see them.
So therefore, I think it is possible for a Green Lantern to survive a fight with one of those characters. But,
Gotcha.
Like I said, they never showed that.
Facts. Okay. So... And then between it, man, these four characters are overpowered. So I think, they're getting washed. Green Lantern's getting washed in that fight. If we're going to talk about story changes based on this, Flash is saved, right? But now we still have two very dangerous characters in play.
Batman's gone.
Batman and
Deal
Superman.
with Batman. Fine.
Right.
Superman is a complicated one.
Now, we didn't play this game. Throwing this back out here. We just watched it on YouTube. We just watched all the story cutscenes. But apparently,
to play it or buy it.
No, but apparently Batman kind of stalks you throughout the entire game. Like you'll see him on a rooftop just watching you, and then you'll never be able to get to him because of course he just dips out. So that being said,
giving the Batman fanboys thoughts of prep time and why he wouldn't lose to this team.
Yeah. However,
I can't say I feel like he has enough prep time.
Keeping the characters, and again, very limited resources in regards to some of these public domain characters. However, keeping Mirror Man's character intact,
right? Because
we would never
put him in that last fight.
They would never see him until he decides to come out and fight. And with Sorceress being as capable as she is, Fiery Icer, and Black Knight being as capable as he is. As a matter of fact, Black Knight, if he's the leader of this squad, he probably would also be like, do not even reveal yourself. Matter of fact, you do the recon, you let us know what's going on in there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to play based off the recon that you did, but never show yourself. And so he would probably pick up on the fact, especially in Metropolis, all of these reflective surfaces everywhere, not to mention Brainiac's ship itself being a reflective surface in and of itself. It's a done deal. So Batman stalking them is not going to be a problem because from right inside of the doggone mirrors, he's just like, yeah, this weird guy is following you. And as a matter of fact, he probably would just...
Can it talk?
Yeah. Yeah. So he would probably, you know what? JoJo's reference. Because there was like two different characters in JoJo's that also did that. Though this Mirror Man is a bit older than any JoJo's iteration. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Everything's a JoJo's reference. But yeah, they would probably just pull Batman into the mirror realm. But that's boring. Let's see if we can figure out another route. It would be very effective though.
I mean, to be fair.
No, he would be able to fight back in there though.
To be fair, Sorceress could literally take the ball out without thought. Because it's like, what can you do against me turning you into an animal?
Well, if Batman did observe that.
But we don't want to be boring.
We don't want to be boring. So Batman observes this. Batman notices this. For him, she would be prime target number one and go for the knockout on her. Does she have super strength?
Assuming that we're fighting first. She's impenetrable to bullets. So
okay, but Batman is... I don't know.
We're not going there.
I know. But this is the Arkham Batman, so we gotta...
I don't care. We're still not going there. If bullets can't pierce her and she literally walked through bullets the way Superman walks through bullets, I don't think a couple punches from Batman are taking her out immediately.
Batman has fought people that...
And she doesn't have a kryptonite.
Right, but he's got gadgets and stuff. This is Arkham. This is
then
Arkham
you better
Batman.
gas her. There we go.
Because I'm pretty sure Killer Croc is
even though I'm pretty sure she also survived a volcano. Just throwing that out there.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Killer Croc to some extent is bulletproof as well.
Yeah, his scales are bulletproof.
So he's fought people
I know.
like that. So I'm trying to like I still think he would probably be like,
that's why I
have to sneak her.
That's why I said again. I was like, maybe he would gas her or something, sneak her.
He probably use that little gadget, the little frosting, and blow the floor out from under her. And then they'd be like, oh, snap, what's going on? And then he would try to attack everybody else while they're disoriented.
Well, to be fair, if we go by the game, that's not what he does.
No, it's not. He
he
just snuck up on
that's
everybody.
That's the way he would do.
Okay, so we'll keep that intact.
So,
can he sneak them like that? I think he could sneak them like that, and then Mirror Man saves them.
I think their downfall would be they don't know what that is that he's using, and they wouldn't know how to deal with it like Harley did.
Got you. Okay. So with that being said,
trying to tiptoe around that was so difficult just now.
So I think we saw how he appears in the game via the trailer, the reveal trailer of him in the game as well. We saw him. It's a dark room, kind of a red hue due to the signs and stuff like that. And you play that part for a little bit as each of the individual characters. If you're not playing, well, I guess you would be playing online, but all the different views that you see in the game or on the YouTube version, they're walking down a hallway. Person gets picked off and knocked out, it switches the character and you get to, either play as or see your teammate getting picked off or whatever like that. So with that being said, I think initially, not to downplay any of these characters.
Black Knight could figure out. Okay. Well,
they're on comms. Who's getting knocked out first?
Well, I mean, you said it that he's going for
probably Sorceress first. I'm trying to think.
He probably go.
We
for
know
Fiery
Batman.
Icer next.
Yeah, they look weaker, and he saw her powers look really intimidating.
Well, power. She looks like the most intimidating one because.
So would he try to isolate her first? Okay. Okay. So drops her first, potentially
Mhm.
tries to drop her first.
Mhm.
Then,
That's
because
why
right
the
at
Fiery
this
Icer
point,
is the one
he's
that's like,
seen
he
them
looks.
defeat Green Lantern. So he's gonna
Right.
maybe even be a little bit more cautious.
Mhm.
This is good. I'm sorry. I'm really enjoying this. This is great. So long story short, those three maybe Disorient Sorceress. We're gonna give her a pass because it's just like, okay, again, just her natural state, no scales, completely impenetrable to bullets, stuff like that. Maybe she doesn't necessarily get knocked out. Maybe just does something to disorient her really quick. Flashbang, whatever, drops Fiery Knight and Black Knight briefly, and then goes in to try to attack her again now that there's no backup as far as he knows.
Mhm.
And then Mirror Man, as he's going in for an attack, bam, catches him and disappears
Right.
back into a
So I
reflective
imagine
surface.
that since they want him to stay on recon, they also
Mhm.
have some kind of mirror or something on them, because that would be the smart plan.
Yeah.
And as Black Knight is Luthor levels of genius,
hmm
he would come up with
But
that.
see, they're wearing armor. It's a reflective surface. He could probably just pop out on
Are
at
they
least.
wearing armor?
Well, excuse me. Black Knight and Fiery Icer are.
Fiery Icer's suit is an armor.
His the material that he uses for his fire and ice
Blast.
projectiles and blasts are. And so he just pop out right out of there. But if that's the case, then why didn't he do that to protect them in the first place? Anyway, the building that they were in
Because he wasn't
had
worried about them
plenty of
yet?
mirrors and reflective surfaces and stuff like that.
It
I mean,
did.
he even
Okay.
used a lady's what is the little hand mirror? Compact mirror. There we go.
Still a mirror.
Okay, it is still a mirror. But anyway, there's glass, there's
Yes, so, but
anything.
yes, I'm just
Think
saying.
Wanda from Multiverse of Madness. She
They
was
would
just
make
popping
sure
at
there was
everything.
something reflective on everybody's suit. Joe. Just
Exactly.
that way they have him with them at all times.
Right. I mean, technically, even he could have, just like the character on JoJo's, he could just pop up in your eyes.
Yeah.
That is dangerous. That is insanely dangerous. So yeah, I think,
and that's why the only person I would have bought from DC that would have killed Flash would be Mirror Master.
Yeah. Yeah, because how do you escape a completely different dimension like that? You're done. So yeah, I think they're knocking out Batman in that moment. Everybody gets their act together. It's just like, this was one of the guys? Yeah. And then they're gutting him there.
Right. Now, Superman.
That's a problem.
Because while between Black Knight and Fiery Icer, they would be able to hold their own. Yeah. But this is an unhinged Superman.
Yeah. And they don't know about the kryptonite at this point.
Right, who also spoiler redacted.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like...
Yeah, if y'all watch...
Super powerful,
a completely unhinged
Superman.
So, but...
So the two of them hold their own.
Here's
the other two don't fight like that.
We're going to have three factions fighting at this point with these changes that we've made. We have Task Force X. We have a now unpossessed, brainwashed Flash and Wonder Woman, right? So we got Wonder Woman and Flash. That's not spoilers. That was in the trailer. Yeah. So Wonder Woman and Flash teamed up.
I forgot about Flash. Sorry, Flash is the most OP character.
Yeah, easily.
So at the very least, he could incapacitate Superman. Now,
here's what I'm concerned.
They're not killing him.
Though, no.
Because they can't kill him.
I see an unfortunate match happening. I feel like they're going to get close to defeating Superman. Talking about like maybe like if Diana is fighting against Superman, Kryptonite blade or shield, whatever she's got, right? And they get right to the end, they're about to do it, and she fumbles the bag. Suicide Squad comes in and gets like, well, is this thing weakens him or whatever like that? We're gonna do something. Then Flash gets in the way to save the day and ruins their opportunity. I
still believe Flash could incapacitate him.
You think so?
Yeah, Flash is OP.
Yeah. So do you think the Flash and Wonder Woman would team up with this version of Suicide Squad?
They don't know who
they are. Well, but at this point, they have killed Batman and Green Lantern without giving them the chance to try to save them. The only reason why Barry knew, and again, this is all trailer stuff, we were trying our best to scoot around it in case you guys want to see the story, but because he was already infected and was just like, hey, there is nothing that can happen. You have to kill us. But they haven't had that experience yet. Because before they even got a chance to try to save their friends, they're dead. Right. So...
Since Diana was MIA during Green Lantern fight, I'm gonna just assume she would show up there to do the same thing to him.
Right. So at this point, they're kind of in trouble right now. So at this point, three factions. Again, Suicide Squad, remaining of the Justice League, Brainiac's forces. They're all not exactly, Justice League and Suicide Squad are not going to be on the same team. I feel like they're going to be fighting each other at some point.
I think they're not worried about fighting them right now because they have bigger fish to fry.
So,
which is the evil Justice League.
Right. So now all that's left.
They might continue to tell them to leave, but they're not going to fight them.
All we have is Superman left in regards to Justice League members.
Mm-hmm.
What does that scenario look like?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. So again, I say,
yeah, my bad. I'm stumped. I was just trying to hope.
We have are Black Knight
mm-hmm.
and Fiery Icer, who could actually hold him off.
You know what?
At least on our new Task Force X.
At this point,
now if Flash and Wonder Woman show up, we all have the same goal.
Is the trailer didn't show this, but this happened really early in game. Is it safe to say, spoiler warning, very minor spoiler for the game, but spoiler warning. 3, 2, 1. Lex Luthor
doesn't die.
Right. In the game, the Arkhamverse, Lex Luthor dies. But he dies by the Flash. If the Flash does not kill him, he's there. Black Knight and Lex Luthor team up. This Lex Luthor is actually about that action. The other one kind of in the background. But this Lex Luthor had a suit. He was ready for action. Yeah. Obviously, he knows about Kryptonite. Obviously, he is geared up and ready for that action. So, with that being said, Black Knight and Lex Luthor team up and say, let's get some Kryptonite bullets going, because Kryptonite was readily available.
Spoilers over. You can unmute or come back. So if you left, I guess you can't come back because you can't hear me. But spoilers over. You can unmute if you did that.
Boom. So now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Black Knight, Lex Luthor team up. Kryptonite is readily available in the Arkhamverse via this game. That's how we know. So with that being said, gears them up with Kryptonite.
Yeah,
they're ready for action.
And he would probably go out with him.
And he would probably go out there with him. Yeah. Now we've got Fiery Icer.
One of his suits.
So. Really, honestly, just trying to fight him because the ice and fire is not really going to do much to him.
Yeah, you gotta fight him.
He's just got to fight him. Now he can't fly, so that's going to be a whole nother. Yeah, Black Knight. Yeah, they can't fly, so that's going to be a problem. But
the only one who can fly is Sorcerer.
Somehow, Fiery Icer is able to keep up with supersonic speed, so his perception will be good enough to counter any attack. Right. But he's not going to be able to fly.
Plus, sorcerers can fly, so she can run something. Now, we could say that she could possibly turn him into an animal.
Right.
But then, that's very tough to say. You brought up his physiology, as he's not a human man. So, if she can turn any male creature or maybe any body, period. It just said man, but that's because it's usually men she's fighting.
Mm-hmm.
But so then maybe she could turn him into an animal, and then that right there ends the fight. If not, now we have to have, maybe,
there's always mirror
disintegrates and makes some dust kryptonite over him. Ooh. So that kryptonite is always raining on him during the fight.
Slows
then we
him down,
have them fighting him because they're not equal footing with him yet, but they're equal footing with characters that have fought him. Well, a character that has fought him. And a character that's as strong as steel is anyway.
If you played the game or watched it, you'll see where I got this from just now. But exactly what you just said. You weaken him with the kryptonite. Just as they get ready to go in for the kill, right? Or they try to anyway, right? Mm-hmm. They're going in for that final blow. What ends up happening is that's when Diana and Barry get in the way and stuff like that. But that's when he turns around and dips off to Brainiac's shit. And then it's just like, that should have dropped him for good. What's going on here, right? And then now we have another iteration where they got to figure out what's going on, because we do know that there are some changes that happen in regards to this Brainiac and what he's done to people and stuff like that. So there are some changes that have been mentioned through various interviews and stuff like that, and of course really expounded upon in game, that there are some slight physical changes.
Right.
So with that being said, if there's something of that nature, now what? They're fighting each other. Superman's dipped out. What is the next move?
Right.
What if Mirror Man just drops him in the... That's so boring. I'm sorry. But could Superman escape a dimension like that?
He has before.
All right, so not to ramble or beat beat a dead horse here, but
I think we've got I'll say 60-40 split on whether or not they can win. 60%, 40%. 40% chance they win.
Mm-hmm. So let's say Superman's out of the picture with the kryptonite thing. They all go get ready to attack Brainiac at this point because, like, Superman's gone. There's nothing they could do about that.
Funny enough, I think they would have an easier time Brainiac.
Oh yeah, they're dropping Brainiac.
Superman.
Yeah,
because Brainiac is mostly inorganic.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the version of Brainiac that we were presented with.
Gotcha. But I think Fiery Icer and Black Knight, they're gonna get in those systems and screw some stuff up. He'll fight Brainiac. No, he's not smart, but I'm not saying he'll hold Brainiac. He can hold if he's holding off Captain Atom, he's holding Brainiac off. He can hold Brainiac. You got two Lex Luthor style people.
Right, and this Lex Luthor is about that action, so they get in there.
They're destroying,
mess with stuff.
Right.
She's disintegrating inorganic stuff around, which is making things harder for him.
Right.
So he's really got to focus on the two of them, and then here comes Mirror Man out of nowhere, just doing random stuff.
Right, and now you're talking about Flash also probably doing the same thing to try to help destroy Brainiac's ship,
right.
And then Wonder Woman's probably helping Fiery Icer drop Brainiac as
because they have no problem killing him.
Right. So now, based on the trailer, as you guys know, there's an Elseworlds Joker coming, which means there's Elseworlds and stuff like that, which hints at the fact that this problem has expanded into the multiverse, right? Mm-hmm. So what are they going to continue? Do they care? Are they being sent out? Are they worried about any of this? Moving forward.
Care? Probably not. But remember, we brought them in as the new Task Force X that Amanda Waller has brought in. So she does still have her nanobombs in the back of their necks or heads or whatever.
So now in game,
I feel like, considering, she could maybe convince Fiery Icer to just do it.
You know what? What I was about to say was spoilers. Not going to say that anyway.
So she could maybe convince Fiery Icer because he's a different universe, but technically also still exists in
DC,
a DC universe, one of the DC worlds.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be the easiest to get. She can just contact another one herself.
Right.
The others she could probably just kind of pull out, and I assume getting pulled through the multiverse is disorienting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the moment that she injects them with the nanobombs.
Yeah.
Or in good old Waller fashion, she lies to them and says that if they take that, then it'll send them back home.
No, got it. So okay, so
somehow
in game,
she's even able to trick the smartest of men. Even Batman can't take down Waller. So.
Right. So at the end of the game, right now, or the end of the story, we're looking at basically they clear everybody but Superman. Superman is incapacitated temporarily, but we have two members of the Justice League left unaffected. And just only Superman to worry about in this verse, and depending on what they do with the Elseworlds thing. So they mostly complete it, but do better than what this team that we get in the game should be doing. So no plot armor. This team is them. This team is them.
I guess they technically have plot armor, but it's the plot armor that they were written with,
right? That
allows them to be strong enough to actually take these characters on via their own feats versus. This is the Suicide Squad, and this is their game, and they're probably gonna win. I'm not convinced they could.
No, I'm not. I'm sorry. If the trailer shows us that they can't hit Flash with bullets, then there should be no boss fight with them fighting Flash with bullets. Well, it's absolutely ridiculous. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this little what if. What characters would you have selected? Use public domain, use anime, use DC, Marvel, whatever.
Random characters.
What characters
think could take out the Justice League?
Yeah, you got 4.
So many freaking Gokus. And also let us know if you think that the characters we chose would actually be able to take out the Justice League after hearing their abilities, their powers, and their feats.
Yeah.
And of course, we're talking a lot more about public domain because we also now have the public domain course available on our website, which we will have the free masterclass available soon to come.
And get a general kind of idea of what that entails before diving into the course proper.
Exactly.
So, guys, thank you again for tuning into this. We're definitely going to be way more active on this. Be sure to stay tuned because we have our community character creation night coming out tomorrow. So definitely tune into that. And remember, until next time, everybody, midnight is coming.